Girl, this man really tried me. Like, honestly tried me. And in as much as I think I didn't want to make a video about him or this incident, I definitely think that it's an important discussion that we need to have. So, a couple of years ago, I uploaded a video called Dating as a Trans Woman. And I'll never forget the day when I shot the video. The video is about 10 minutes long. I remember thinking that, oh, this video needs to be really short. I need to get the main point across. But as I was speaking in that video, I knew that I was beginning a conversation that could not be, that you really couldn't grasp all the nuance of it in a 10-minute video or even a 20-minute video. I knew that it was something that I was going to continue to talk about because being somebody who's trans and single, I'm continually confronted with situations where I'm either looking for a partner or a partner is trying to find me. Other parts of my trans experience, like passing and family acceptance or family rejection and all of those things, I found with myself, I don't deal with those things on an everyday basis. I don't deal with those things on a weekly basis. But when it comes to the romantical aspect of being trans, the dating aspect, every single day I'm encountered with either some kind of stupidity or somebody who's really amazing. So before I actually go in and start attacking trans amorous men, like I always do in my videos, please, I hope you guys never think that I have anything against trans amorous men. I date trans amorous men, obviously, because I'm a trans woman. But the first thing I want us to understand is the difference between someone who's trans amorous and someone who is just a chaser. And I was watching a video by Shannon. Oh my gosh, Shannon is one of my favorite YouTubers now, Shannon Martin. I put a link in the description, so you can pause this video right now, girl, and go check out Shannon. I'm going to give you time, girl. Go check out her channel. Tell her Christabel sent you. But I was watching a video that she made, and she actually made a point that was so profound. She said, in some ways, trans amorous men, in some instances, have a harder time in society in terms of acceptance than actual trans women. Now, that statement in and of itself is loaded. And I'm sure when you hear it at first glance, you're like, no, are you crazy? They don't have to do A, B, C, and D. But what we fail to realize is that when you're a trans woman and you come out and you live in your truth, there is a segment of society that applauds you for your courage. You are seen as essentially being brave to do this. And a lot of people, like there is a movement of people that are so supportive of trans women. A movement that is supportive towards the men that date trans women does not exist. If anything, if a guy dates a trans woman openly and people know about it, he is ridiculed, he's often made fun of, and people question his sexuality continually. Even people that support trans women question his sexuality. Go onto any trans YouTuber who has her boyfriend in one of her videos, and you will certainly see the question, oh, is he gay? Like, is he bi? Like, well, what's his sexuality? His sexuality immediately comes into question when he dates a girl that is like me. and there's very little support. The only support comes from trans women, because we understand how difficult it is to be a part of the world that we're in. Look, when you're a trans woman, you get the bullets. People shoot at you. And anyone who's standing next to you, baby, they're going to get the bullets too. So there is definitely some difficulty for the men that date trans women, especially for the trans amorous men that are attracted to girls that are more trans visible. There is a subsection of men that actually really loves trans women that don't pass, or trans women that look very, very much trans women that have the trans aesthetic. And for those men, they definitely get humiliated. They definitely get made fun of. And we need to get to a point, us as trans women, where we do not participate in the bullying of trans amorous men. We cannot fight against our counterpart. And for you as a trans woman, I know, like, initially I always assumed that a trans man is a trans woman's counterpart. And to be honest, I still think that's true. But in most spaces, trans women date trans amorous men. So it can be argued that trans amorous men are our counterpart. Now, it's important to differentiate these men from tranny chasers who are just using us for sexual gratification and, harbor a sense of hatred towards us and have very much this sense of embarrassment about being with us. Those are two different types of men. And what we as trans women do, because we're not all the way 100, you know what I mean? What we as trans women sometimes do is we group every man that is attracted to trans women. We group all of them in one category as chasers. The minute a man, let's say a man who's trans amorous, shows any type of attention or interest to you and makes it known that they like you, and one of the things they like about you is the fact that they're trans. Once they make it known that they specifically look for trans women, they're labeled as chasers. Now, this doesn't help these men, and it doesn't help us. It really doesn't help us. Because if we call every single man a chaser, like, we're gonna fuck around and miss out on our one true love, messing around with that bullshit. Like, just to be honest with you. You know what I mean? But I think it comes from this idea that we are ashamed of ourselves, and we hate, or we have dysphoria around our genitalia, our bodies, and any man who loves us because of what we hate about ourselves becomes persona non grata. You know what I mean? Now that's out of the way. Now that y'all trans attracted men know that I actually have nothing against you, we can move on to the shit that y'all did to me this week. Y'all tried me. Not like you really tried me. I'm gonna try and not swear in this video. I'm gonna try and be as cerebral and straight-laced as possible, but you tried me. You actually tried me. I'm trying to get this strength inside of me to say this in a nice way. So, maybe 8 months ago now, I meet this guy on this transgender dating app. So he's 42 years old. He is British. British men are starting to disappoint me. I had so many hopes that I would end up with a British boy named, I don't know, Georgie or Liam. A girl, I had dreams. But British men are trying me. So he's 42, he's British, and he was previously married to an Indonesian woman, but she passed away. And when she passed away, he was very much like, I can now explore this part of my sexuality. So he sends me a message, I respond, we start messaging each other, but I very much wasn't really interested in him like that. I really, really wasn't, but I like to give everyone a chance because I'm the type of person, just because I don't find you attractive on day one, it doesn't mean you can't grow on me. There's so many people that I've met that after spending some time with them, feelings of attraction or whatever start to develop. So I didn't like write him off just because I wasn't attracted to him at first glance. I still very much gave him a chance. But it was evident that I wasn't that interested because of how slow I was to respond. That's how you know a girl's not interested in you. If she's not really making the time to respond to you, she's not looking for anything serious with you. So he got like snippy with me, like he got frustrated with me. And I felt guilty, I felt like he's really wanting to have like a video to call with me. I should do it. It's understandable that he's getting frustrated because I am ignoring him, but he got snippy. So much so, in the message, he wrote, okay, video chat in 30 minutes. The clock's ticking. I'll be waiting for you. I think it was actually more aggressive than that, girl, because I showed it to this guy that I was talking to at the time, another guy that I talked to like ages later, and he was like, no, bruh. He was pissed off at you. So we have the first video chat, and I'm trying to figure out how this new Skype thing works. Now, as I'm busy talking to him, I notice that he is still pissed. But I'm very much like, we're having the call now. Let's make it as pleasurable and as enjoyable as, as it can be. And I have this terrible personality trait in that I always try to win people over. I always try to be as sweet as I possibly can be to try and win them over. So even though I wasn't really feeling him, because that's just something that's in me that'll never change, I try to win him over. Cool, then he starts feeling me and whatever, as he should. And we decide to chat again. Now, at the end of the video call, I will be honest, it turned out that we had a lot of things that we were interested in. We were both into like this new age, self-help, law of attraction kind of BS. And yeah, so we decide to video chat again. Girl, we must have had 3 voice calls. And I noticed a trend with him. This man has such a grandiose sense of self. He really believes that he is God's gift to trans women. He really, really thinks that. I found it very interesting that early on in our conversation, he talked about how aggressive trans women are and that they always want to fight with him and they seem to have all these emotional problems. So he went on talking about his experiences with trans women and painting a picture that very much made it seem like all of the trans girls are crazy and he's just some decent guy that's trying to find love. Now, I remember giving him the side eye when he said that because, let me give you an example. If you're a woman and you say all men are terrible, baby, come on, like at some point you need to look at yourself and ask yourself, how is it possible that it can't be everyone and not you? No, it can't. I'm sorry. Girl, it gets worse. This is very much still the beginning part. Girl, tell me why this man is telling me about another trans girl that he was speaking to and how she sent him a voice note in the morning wishing him a good morning. And she's from the Philippines. And a lot of women in the Philippines have American accents for whatever reason. And a lot of people say that women from the Philippines sound robotic. Like, I've heard that. I personally think that they sound beautiful. I love how they speak. And he said no, she sounded like an automated voice thing, and it was put on. And so she wishes him a happy morning or a good morning or whatever, and he responds immediately and is like, I hate that voice. I wish you wouldn't speak to me like that. It just sounds so artificial. And he critiques her. He sends her like a 4-minute voice note critiquing her. So she, and I love baby girl for doing this, she sends him a voice note and she's like, listen, clearly I'm not the girl you're looking for. And she ends things. And he was so mad that she stood up for herself. He was so mad. Ugh, girl, I misgender everyone. And we need to talk about this in another video because I'm about to get beat up one day. So I keep misgendering people like this. Anyways, so he gets all upset. And he's bitching to me about it. And I'm like, she was well within her rights to tell you this. Now he stumbles upon my YouTube channel because I tell him to. And he went on and he said, oh, he doesn't like me on YouTube. I seem too animated. I seem, it's almost like I'm like plastic fantastic. And I just seem very disingenuous. And he went on about how fake I seem on YouTube. Granted, he's not the only person who feels that way. Cool. So I'm just kind of like, okay. And then a lot of my content is about encouraging people, and a lot of my videos, I talk about painful experiences that I've had, and I reflect on them, and I try to find a lesson, and by using that, I try to help my sisters and brothers and gender non-conforming individuals. I see you, bitch. With similar issues, you know what I mean? And he just felt like it was so fake, and he actually told me that I was too positive. There's a video that I actually posted the day he was telling me this shit. It's called Trans Women Are Different from Cis Women or something like that. So in that video, I'm wearing like a yellow SpongeBob SquarePants shirt, and I don't have any makeup on. Like, I was very sad because of how he attacked me, and he basically told me that, you know, like, I'm too positive, and because I'm so positive, I'm going to be sorely disappointed in life because I'm very much rooted in an unrealistic dream. And he went on about how I need to, like, grow up, and I need to, that I'm too hyper feminine. That it's an over-exaggeration of femininity, which anyone knows me, I am a jeans and t-shirt kind of girl, like, I know. And even if I was over-feminine, that's how I express myself, my nigga, like, fuck. So after this conversation, that's when I'm kind of like, I ignore him. I stopped answering. I stopped speaking to him. And about 2 months later, you know, we block each other, or a month later, we block each other. And then he sends me a message. We have this heated fight where he just tells me how, like, trans women are crazy. He's a genuine guy, and all of us need help. This is somebody who is thirsty for trans women, who for an hour will talk about everything that he wants to experience with a trans woman, but in the same breath will tear us down. Whew! Like, I need, like, Jesus needs to give me some strength because I can't with y'all. So, like, I don't speak to him for, like, months and months and months. I think something like 8 months or 6 months or whatever passed, and I don't really speak to him, because, you know, I've blocked him off everything. But I start to notice, because like I unblock him because I don't really fucking care. And if he dare messages me, I had so much shit I wanted to tell him. But it gets to the point where I don't even care about him. I'm focused on my other issues. I noticed on my WhatsApp, because I had him on WhatsApp as well, he keeps checking up on me. He keeps looking at my stories. Like, he's very much a fan at this point. And, like, I ignore it. You know, like, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. Then he sends me a message. I wish I actually hadn't deleted his messages, because I very much am curious as to how the first conversation went. But he was very much like, hey, how have you been? I've missed talking to you. He missed talking to me after all the crazy mess he was saying. Anyways, he asked me how I've been, and he can't find me on Facebook anymore. I'm like, the reason you can't find me on Facebook is because I've blocked you, sir. And I'm like, anyways, I hope that you're doing well, and I hope that you're in good spirits. And he's like, yeah, I am. And he asked me something stupid. He's like, is your family healthy? Is your family okay? And something, we get onto the topic of dating at some point. Cool. Obviously, he has had no luck with trans women. None. He's like, from the time he spoke to me, he has not had any like, nothing romantic. I was the very last person that, you know what I mean? He did kind of talk to a girl, but she cut him off quick, fast. And yeah, very much trans women have been just, you know, like, not taking his bullshit. It's just, I'm a gullible idiot who wants to be sweet and friendly to everyone, that I fell for this man's shit. All the other girls are like, no, baby, this fucker's crazy. So he goes on and he talks about how, like, he hasn't had luck, and like how it's been really bad for him. And I sent him a message, because I want him to very much understand that even though I'm being nice to him, I'm not interested in him as a friend. I'm not interested in him as a lover or a boyfriend or anything. But I don't want, I don't want to see anyone in pain. You know what I mean? And I don't like it I don't like hearing that people are feeling alone and unloved and unwanted. No one should feel that way. Not even Hitler. Not even Hitler. Everyone needs to have at least one person they can say, this person loves me. It doesn't matter how terrible or how good you are. You're a human, and you deserve to be loved. And he was no different. But I needed him to very much understand that even though I had compassion for him as a fellow human being, I wasn't about to fuck with him like that. Because in as much as I have compassion for him, I have self-respect for myself. And I'm not going to put myself in a situation that is going to induce trauma. Girl, we don't do that here. No, we don't do that in 2021. And I very much told him, like, I was like, when I spoke to you, I found you to be very critical and very judgmental towards trans women. And to be honest, he was very much giving me pop psychologist. He was giving me Dr. Phil. Girl, he gave me a whole Dr. Phil, the transphobic version. And I was like, ain't nobody out here checking for Dr. Phil like that. So if you want to get into a relationship, seek to understand instead of seeking to be understood. Listen to try to understand what the other person is saying. Don't listen just to respond. Cool. He then, and I was very, very nice. I didn't say everything I wanted to say because I didn't want to hurt him, and I wasn't looking for an argument because he is a fool. He then goes on and he says, no, most of the men on this dating site have the exact same problem that I do. That's a bold-faced lie. On that website, the men cannot talk to each other. They can only see the women's profiles. I can tell you what the men's experience is because I actually talk to them. I can't tell you what the trans girl's experience on that website is. I can only tell you about mine. But he goes on and says, still that trans women are crazy. They just have all these emotional problems. They don't want to work on themselves. They don't want to fix themselves. They're the ones that have the issue. And, you know, he's just an innocent victim in all of this. What else did he say that just pissed me off? Yeah, like he said that. That basically trans women are crazy. And, the only thing that he can do, and he even said, I just get along better with biological women. So I don't know if trans women are just always going to be a fantasy and never reality. They're just a fantasy in our minds. They're not a reality. We are a reality. I'm someone's daughter. I'm someone's sister. I'm someone's aunt. I'm someone's best friend. And even though, like, I haven't always had success in my relationship, fun fact, I'm still close to all of my exes. We still kick it like that. You know what I mean? And part of the reason that I haven't found a relationship or whatnot is because I know exactly what I'm looking for. I'm not just going to settle for any guy that walks my way. And I think trans women have gotten to that point where they understand what they're looking for. We no longer prioritize love over our own self-respect or over our own needs. You know what I mean? And I'm very much happy to stay single until I meet the right person. But I'm not going to go around talking about how all trans amorous men are crazy. Like, I have in some videos, like, I have made videos where I was like, chasers get a no from me. But I very much, like, I don't like it when it turns into character assassination. When you make these bold statements about an entire population group. You know what I mean? And look, you guys can check me if you want. Maybe I've made bold statements about population groups. But now, as I've gotten older, now at this point in my life, I understand that you can never take a brush and paint everyone with the same brush. And my advice to trans amorous men is that if you are trans amorous and you're really looking for love and connection with a trans woman, is to understand that we're all different. We come in different sizes, colors, and we have different experiences. Seek to understand us. Seek to connect with us. And you know, it's crazy. I don't know if anyone else has had this experience, but very much older men are not it for me. I'm sorry. Like, once, like, a lot of the guys, generally with a lot of people within the LGBTQ plus community that are in their 40s and older, and even like my age, a lot of them will have these prehistoric ideologies. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it's because they didn't grow up with social media. I don't know if they didn't grow up in this movement that's trying to be more woke and progressive. But a lot of these guys, a lot of these older men that are in their 40s and 50s, they very much jump into the trans dating world with all this misogyny, with all this patriarchy, with all of these ideas about trans women, and they talk to us as though we're not human. Like, one more person called me mistress. One more person must just call me that, or act as though I'm some dominatrix. You know, and oh gosh, like that guy, like when I say he made me mad, but I very much, like when he said that to me, I was like, okay, let's just end this conversation. I didn't take the bait because this man, like, he's very much the type of person who, like, the epitome of gaslighting, actually. Oh my gosh, is this the first time I've, like, been gaslit? It probably isn't. But yeah, he, like, gaslights you. He says things, very much not caring about how you are gonna feel. But he just throws all this judgment and hatred to trans women. And I'm like, bro, you're trying to get with me. That's what doesn't make sense for me, you know, because most of my friends are cisgender girls. And like we'll talk about guys, but I always get to a point where I don't always relate to my cisgender friends because I've had experiences, so many experiences, where the very same man who's trying to be with me romantically or even just sexually for the night starts off with an insult, starts off with some crazy, starts off talking some mess, starts off with his voice on motherfucking caps lock. And it's just kind of like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't, like, I'm trying to can, but I can't. But I'm so glad that not all trans attracted men are like this. Not all are like this. In fact, the majority of the ones I speak to are the sweetest, most genuine guys. You know what I mean? So I very much want us to start recognizing the type of man that we are talking to and not just group them all into a category, because even even though this guy Joss is fucking crazy, like is he's the fucking antichrist, I don't think he's a chaser. I don't. For me, a chaser would never, like, I don't think he's DL, like, I don't think he's a chaser because he has very much expressed the desire to be in an open relationship where everybody knows, with a trans woman. And to me, that doesn't seek chaser. Yeah, he has some problematic ass views, and to be honest, and this is going to be me being a messy bitch, I very much hope that he doesn't meet anyone. I take that back. Everyone deserves happiness. But it's a no for me. Anyways, thank you so much, you guys. Whew. I really needed to get that off my chest. So if you got nothing from this video, just thank you for being there for me and just listening to me, because it gets a lot, you know, like it really gets a lot. Sometimes you just wish you could vent to somebody who understands, you know what I mean? I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you on the next video. Bye.